Good evening. Good evening, beautiful people. I hope you can hear me. You can see me well. Please let me know if it is so. And I'm happy to read that people already have Monday on the other side of the world in New Zealand. So, good morning. I'm really happy to read where you're from. You know that I always love learning from what oblast you are connecting. Greetings to Sweden, greetings to New Zealand, greetings to the UK. Hi, Philip, happy to see you. We are in a beautiful team, moderators who are also super friends and super positively charged people. Rudy is with us, Martin is with us. I know Spencer is going to be with us. So happy all the beautiful people. Hello, Paul. Hello, John, Yoda, something blonde. Really happy, Francois. Really happy to see all of you here. Greetings to Finland and South Africa and Alberta Oblast and California and Switzerland and Miami. It's raining in Miami and it's plus 29 here in Ukraine, Celsius, which is really hot. And they say it will be up to 37 next week. Hi, Michael. And Michael sends greetings to all the friends watching us. Greetings to Washington and Australia and Swansea. This is beautiful. I'm really happy to see all of you. Quebec, Canada. Missing winter already. I don't believe you. I don't. Honestly, I'm not a winter person. So I'm totally okay with this kind of weather. Greetings to Sweden. I'm happy that we share national colors. New Jersey. I'm really happy to see you. I have just returned back from a 2-day trip to my favorite lake on the planet, Lake Sweetas. I have shared something from my trip on my Instagram. If you're not yet following me on Instagram, remember to join me. You will find the descriptions and links to all my social media in the under each video and on the channel. Greetings to Kentucky and Norway and South Jersey and Belgium and Texas. It is really great that all you managed to join me today. Also, I need to remind that, and I've noticed that Rudy mentioned that before, from time to time, we have scammers on the channel. They are not exquisite to my channel. This is a trouble in different social media. They pretend to be the authors of the channel. They may invite you to Telegram, WhatsApp. I never do that. Well, first of all, honestly, I don't have that much time to chat. Second, we have our communication in the comments. I love that. And I often ask you questions. I always read your answers, and sometimes you may see how I answer them in videos. That's what I do. But of course, I never invite you to private chats, and I never ask for money, or we never have lotteries where you win Snickers or something else. Please always report the scammers. They typically may steal the photo of my profile, but they cannot get the name. So please mind that, and always report the scammers. I am really happy to see so many friends here, and I'm happy to read your conversations, because this demonstrates how strong our community is. And actually, I have already subconsciously started the countdown for 150,000 subscribers. And once again, I will be very happy if you help me share and get more people to our community. So thank you so much, Philip, for sending love to me and all of our community. And indeed, I'm very proud of our community. Thank you so much, World Peace, for becoming a sponsor. And greetings to Los Alamos, I'm sorry, New Mexico. I know I have watched some Discovery series connected with your beautiful location. Thank you once again for being today. And you might have noticed that the topic of our today's live is a little bit provocative. When I was thinking about the topic we can discuss traditionally, of course, these are Russian dictators, these are negotiations with Russia or Russia on fire. Oh, Spencer has joined us, and Martin and Rudy are our perfect friends, moderators who do the job not just during the live, but also protect us from evil Russian trolls. Unfortunately, there are too many. So maybe you have noticed that you that the topic of our title, the topic of our conversation today is a little bit provocative because it's about Olena Zelenska, the wife of President Zelenskyy, Bugatti, and fake news that Russia desperately tries to spread around the world. And the majority of people who follow the news, who are sane and adequate, they understand this is propaganda, but unfortunately, there are many who still believe. Hello, Bob. Greetings to Vancouver. And so I thought it would be good to talk a little bit about these misconceptions, fake narratives that Russia tries to bring into your media, into global media. And Russia is actually good at producing fakes because they do not always do them bold and very primitive. Sometimes they work really long to develop a topic. And thank you so much, OMS, for becoming a sponsor, and cheers to everyone. And first of all, I would like to start with a question that I am going to ask you, and only those of you. Greetings to Ireland, and I want you to answer only if you feel like, because you know that I respect privacy. I understand that politics may be quite problematic. That's why I never openly um, ask you. Thank you so much, Ed, for buying me coffee. I never openly ask you what president you support or what party did you vote. So the next question that I am going to ask you is only for those who feel like answering it. And my question number one will be, do you consider your country, do you find that there is a problem of corruption in your country? Is corruption present on any level, in any sphere in your country? Greetings to New Mexico, greetings to Italy. So, glory to heroes. So, the question is simply, you may write your country, you may not, but do you consider corruption a problem in your country? And while you are answering, I will try to first speak about corruption in Ukraine, which is number one topic that Russian propaganda likes to bring to countries, those who like considered strong old democracies. So, first of all, is there corruption in Ukraine? And the answer is yes, there is corruption in Ukraine. But I think that corruption is a general problem, and unfortunately, it is present in many countries. It can be very different. It is not always limited, I don't know, to money that you have to pay someone. Often it is connection, influence that you have. And observing lots of democratic countries, okay, I may say, like, even the United States or Germany, we do see some signs of corruption when we look at that. For example, let's take Nord Stream. This is something that is really close to everyone. And Russia paid huge sums of money in bribes to European politicians to get the permission to continue um, Nord Stream. And here in Ukraine, like everyone knew that when Nord Stream is over, Nord Stream was ready. Russia needed Ukrainian infrastructure. But it was so symbolic, like that everyone in the world who was following Russian politics knew that Nord Stream, the day Nord Stream is over, uh, Russia is ready to destroy Ukraine. This is exactly what it happened. And so many politicians, for example, in Germany, supported the idea of Nord Stream. Angela Merkel believed that she will be able to distract or something like that. So, unfortunately, I think that almost every country in the world has some level of corruption that can be represented differently. Then, in Ukraine, in many post Soviet, ex Soviet countries, corruption was a very serious problem, and especially in times of the Soviet Union, in the period before the collapse of the Soviet Union. Why? Why? Because you understand that this idea of communism where everything belongs to everyone is non-realistic. It's a little bit of a very big BS. It was difficult to achieve. Many people believed that it was possible, and lots of things were like communal and like this collective farms and everything. From my own background, I can tell you that for oh, we have some beautiful. Thank you so much, Bivan, for buying me coffees. And so anyway, it was really interesting that in Soviet Union everyone had to be equal, but it was not like that. And if you look at the way the communist leaders lived in a particular republic or in Moscow, it was huge. The gap between people and the communist leaders was really big. Moreover, at the end of the Soviet Union, before the collapse of the Soviet Union, uh, it was like not enough of anything. We did not have enough clothes. We did not have enough food. It was, once again, in Soviet Union, it was named deficit. Um, like things that you don't have enough. I know it's not okay in English, it does not like more of lack, but here everything was described as deficit, 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 deficit. And I remember like I was 6 when Soviet Union collapsed, but I do remember uh, standing in very long queues outside a vegetable shop with my mom. Of course, it was impossible to buy bananas. Bananas were for like New Year, but it was difficult to get meat. It was difficult to get something. It was super bad. And people who wanted to get something, they were actually uh, having connections. They were trying to connect to shop assistants. And there was a period in Soviet Union where shop assistants were extremely rich because they had access to some goods. And for example, if you wanted particular shoes, and the shoes were brought to a shop like once in half a year, and the price of shoes would be like, I don't know, 25 bucks, but you will have to pay 100 bucks to get the shoes because there are no shoes at all. And this was actually, greetings to Wales, this was actually a mother of corruption to some extent. This was the reason for corruption, where people could not get access. We did not have like normal middle class. That's why for me, it is Russia, it is Kremlin, it is Moscow that the mother of that enormous corruption. Then after the collapse of the Soviet Union, um, after the East Germany, Sam says that it was common for, once again, it was not common just for Ukraine. Moreover, uh, I remember my parents telling me that they would go to Moscow, and in Moscow supermarket they would find chicken from Ukraine, and you will not find chicken in Ukraine. Everything was taken once again to Moscow, to St. Petersburg, just as right now they do not mobilize people from that countries. But anyway, it was huge. It was really problematic, and it was not only in Ukraine. It was in many occupied by Soviet Union republics. After the collapse, many criminals, many former Soviet Union elite tried to grasp property. And actually, this is something unbelievable. None of your countries, like I'm sure that like most of your countries, did not go through this experience when people had a possibility to buy huge factories, enterprises, and these were not smart people. These were typically criminals or people who were, I cannot say brave enough, but like crazy enough to risk everything to simply hijack something. And this is how first oligarchs appeared, because if you look at Russian oligarchs, they are typically people who do not produce anything. These are not, I know, like for example, in the US, you may have problems with some billionaires, let's say Elon Musk, but still he has created something, or he stole someone's idea, but this is something created. And the problem with oligarchs on post-Soviet territory is that these are people who do not produce anything. They simply drink the blood of the country. They simply sell electricity or sell water or sell gas or sell oil. They do not produce it. They don't even care for the good quality of the services. They simply get money from the country, share this money with the president or something like that. So the majority of things, the majority of these oligarchs who controlled resources, who controlled things, they were Kremlin, Moscow generated. Even those who were in Ukraine in 90s, at the beginning of 2000s, they were all connected with Russia. And that is actually why they were always against revolutions, the Orange Revolution or the Revolution of Dignity. They were always trying to, hello sister, happy to see you. They were trying to oppose and to work with Russia closer. So that's why actually Russian and pro-Russian oligarchs did not want European Union. European Union is not ideal. In European Union, we also have corruption and other problems. I know that, I see that. Well, I see Hungary. I am really close to Poland, and I see how many weird things may happen there. But still, the norms, the laws, the middle class, the standards, the atmosphere is healthy. And for connected with Russia oligarchs, it was always deadly. That's why those people who wanted to continue stealing money in Ukraine, in, I don't know, the Baltics, in Poland, in other countries that had to recover from the communist occupation, they were always pro-Russian. And they always opposed Euro integration and other things. That's why it was so important for us. After the Orange Revolution, after the Revolution of Dignity, we have lost many of these oligarchs. Some of them were imprisoned. Many of them escaped. The majority of them escaped through Russia to some beautiful countries like France, like Switzerland. But thank you so much for your compliment. But at this moment, if I had to speak about like oligarchs, do they control Ukraine? I would say the majority of them escaped. And this tiny percentage that remained it disappeared very quickly in times of war. Thank you so much, Lee, for buying me coffees. Thank you. They disappeared because, oh God, my God, they never go through difficult periods with the country. Some of them are imprisoned because of pro-Russian connections. And this is one of the reasons we have very active civil society. And this is one of the reasons why our civil society wants to go to the European Union, because we're fighting against corruption. And we know that these standards, laws, reforms of the court and other stuff will help us, because we are working from inside, and it's also good when you help us working from outside. And that's exactly how we see it. And then, uh, I can tell you in general that whenever Ukraine succeeds or our allies unite, you can come and see more and more of Russian fakes and Russian narratives about how corrupt Ukraine is. I often come across these Russian troll comments that say, "You are the most corrupt country in the world," and so on. Well, sure, we are not. We're definitely not the most corrupt country in the world. We are a country that has problems with corruption, just as many. We are a country that is on the way of its reforming and changes. We are a country that went through a very complicated period of Soviet occupation with no normal market relations, but we are doing actually really good. We are doing really good. I don't want to be bad, but here in Ukraine, we also compare different countries. I won't name them because I'm good. But I can tell you officially, there are countries inside the European Union and especially inside NATO that are more complicated and that are more, to some extent, corrupt than Ukraine, even according to their own statistics. Thank you so much, Scott, for buying me coffees. Greetings from Ukraine. And thank you, Duncan, for the sponsorship to 10 people on the channel. This is huge. So, first of all, it's important to understand that corruption is present, it's a problem, but it is definitely not in the sizes that Russia tries to describe it. So first of all, I will get these comments like, "Don't support Ukraine, Ukraine is corrupt," and so on. Then, one of the hugest, very huge things, Russia wants people not to support Ukraine because all the money are stolen elsewhere. Guys, for us, this war is an existential war. If we lose this war, we will die. Like, I mean, literally. For me, if Ukraine loses, if Ukraine collapses, this is a death sentence. You know that we have a very active civil society. You know we had lots of revolutions, protests, and so on. Guys, do you think people would allow stealing of money that are given for the war effort? Never. Because in every family, we have people at the front lines and their life is backed up by this money. Another important moment to remember is that the majority of the support that we get, it's not money. So when we hear that the US gives to Ukraine $62 billion, these are not sacks of dollars that Zelenskyy brings on a plane back to Ukraine. First of all of these money are given for a very long period of time. Second, they are given in the military aid, which is missiles, sometimes helmets, I don't know, lots of things, but these are not money. Thank you so much, Julian. And also, what we often underestimate is the thing that quite often the majority of this money, I mean like real money, actually stays in your countries, which is okay. So for example, when you give Ukraine F-16s, you get yourself F-35, which are better jets. And this money, this millions or billions, you spend on buying or constructing this new F-35s. This is how it works. This like just money that Ukraine can get, these are minor sums. In the majority of cases, this is funding new weapons for your countries and giving us the outdated weapons. This is how it works. We don't mind. We are very grateful. But this is not just like what sometimes even President Trump like to make this image that Zelenskyy travels with sacks of money. This does not work like that. Plus, honestly, we have a very friendly community on the channel, and I know you know that. Have you counted how many videos I had on F-16s saying that they are arriving soon to Ukraine? They are not yet here. And it will take more time for them to be here. But for many people in their heads, F-16s are already fighting for Ukraine and you have already helped us with them. But no, we don't have them yet. We don't use them yet. They don't protect our soldiers. No, our skies are not closed by them. And it is 2.5 years, and it's almost a year and a half after they were first promised. So what is super important to understand, it is very long. It's never like money and cash to Ukraine. In most cases, this is that we get your outdated things. Thank you so much, Andrew. And you update yourselves, which is very smart. And this is really good that it happens. Unfortunately, with the word unfortunately, this is very like with the world, with Iran, with China, with North Korea, we cannot relax, and yes, we have to arm ourselves. So that's how it works. So I hope, like, first, corruption is present. It's not that big. Of course, everyone controls the money because for us, it's survival. It is the survival of our members of family. So of course, no one would let Zelenskyy or anyone else to steal this money. Then these are not money, but these are mainly missiles, ammunition, and all other stuff. What is also important, of course, there are no weapons on the black market because we don't have enough weapons. You know, everything is very well controlled. But somehow, Russia, thank you so much, Kai, for buying me coffees. But somehow people believe it. And then I have decided to put it in our title and discuss it with you today. Something is very absurd when something totally BS appears. Like Olena Zelenska bought Bugatti when she visited France in June. It often appears before something extremely important. Before a NATO summit, before a peace summit, or something like that. And for me as a Ukrainian, I understand that this is totally fake. And I often do not discuss it in my videos because I cannot believe that someone can actually take it serious. Well, first of all, let's be bad. Let's be really bad. So Olena Zelenska, who is in the center of attention of so many people, including evil Russians, is so stupid that she goes with her credit card and buys the most expensive Bugatti. And why didn't she drive it then? It doesn't work like that. Then, of course, all these checks that appear, they are fake. And people who want to check it may go to the Bugatti official website and they will see that even this Bugatti webpage states this is fake. This is not real. Hello, Trev. I'm happy to see you. So we see that it's totally fake. It's created. This bill that was shared online, it's not real. It doesn't have some important elements. And of course, Zelenskyy is not that like crazy to do that, because come on. And still, there are lots of pro-Russians, and even the webpage on which this fake news appeared, it was created like, I don't know, 2 days before the publication. And this is, but still, what Russia does, it starts sharing it. And they have this thing for Zelenska, because I remember during her last visit, and it seems to me once again to France, there was similar fake news about her buying something in Cartier for 1 million. Thank you so much, 907, because I could not pronounce the rest of the letters, for becoming a sponsor. And so anyway, like once again, she bought something in Cartier for $1 million. She wouldn't do that. She doesn't have that money. No one, like, believe me, people in Ukraine can actually count how much a dress costs. And if this dress costs like, I don't know, $1,000, this will be a very big problem here in Ukraine. So anyway, what they do, for example, this news about Zelenska buying something in France and paying $1 million for a Cartier bracelet, they come from Nigerian webpage. I have nothing against Nigeria, but come on, why? Why do we trust an unknown Nigerian web page that has nothing to do with Cartier, that has nothing to do with global politics? It's not a famous spy portal or something like that. And this is like crazy how it all works, but they have huge troll factories and they share this news like crazy. And then I may have some people coming back to me and asking these questions. Is it real? No, it is not real. Moreover, these are very primitive things, because once again, like, first, this never happened. These news are totally fake. The official web pages deny this. You can check the bills, they don't look real. And even if you trust all of that, then, and if you think that like Ukrainians are evil, Ukrainians would not be that stupid. This is even stupid. It's not just bad. This is simply stupid. If she needed that, she would have asked someone to buy it for her, like how real oligarchs do it. Another thing, what makes me also crazy, is when she has, like, for example, Zelenska or anyone else, or Zelenskyy has something, like $200,000-300,000 worth, and it may be even from the pre-presidential life. And Zelenskyy was a super popular artist here in Ukraine. He had his producing center. He was a super popular actor. It was lots of concerts. And it was like for 20 years or something. Thank you so much, William, and happy to see you. So anyway, Zelenskyy was rich before he became a president. He was rich, not crazy rich, not a billionaire, not an oligarch, but he was rich. If you'd ask me, do I think he had like $1 million or more before his presidential career? I would say yes. Just like, I don't know, Ryan Gosling or someone else. Like he was that for Ukraine. He was popular. He was on the movies. He had concerts. He had private shows. Like, of course, not like Trump, not like someone else, but he's not just like a simple teacher or a simple doctor. He was a celebrity, so he may have like a house in Italy or something because he was rich, but not during his presidential term. Look at him. Just look at him. Did I don't know if you know, but when Zelensky decided he wants to be a president, his wife actually was very much against that. She did not like the idea at all. Uh, because she thought it will be difficult, he will not have time for family. And oh my God, how right she was. So anyway, please never pay attention to such things that are totally fake and they play on people's emotions, but at the same time, they are super and super primitive. They are super primitive. Or, for example, recently a friend subscriber have asked me a question about like, how corrupt is Ukraine? And I say like, well, I don't know. How can I measure that in percent? But of course, that's a problem. We are trying to fight it. But I think it's also a problem for the majority of countries, especially those that were once the Soviet Union and so on. And then uh, he says that there is much information about how corrupt Ukraine on their media, which distracts attention from the support. And then I asked the person, can you please give me an example of this corrupt thing in Ukraine so that I can tell you more or I can debunk it, or maybe you are right and we have something that is a problem. So I just like, give me a fact. And he gives me an article about Yulia Tymoshenko. Those of you who know more about Ukraine, who follow our politics, know she was once a prime minister of Ukraine, but she is not in power just like, I don't know, perhaps for, I'd say that after the revolution of dignity, she is not very active. She tried to make a comeback, but she is like from 90s, from early 2000s, but she is no more a leader, a political leader, an active leader. There were some things of corruption. They were not that huge, just like similar with lots of your politicians. But most importantly, she's like for 10 years out of big politics in Ukraine. And this is taken as a case of corruption in Ukraine. And people who don't know much, they simply think, okay, let's check. Oh, she was a prime minister of Ukraine. They say she's no more. Unfortunately, Ronald Reagan is no more president of Ukraine, of the United States. So yeah, Yulia Tymoshenko was. Thank you so much, Nick. Yulia Tymoshenko was very beautiful and is still, but she is a very complex personality, and I'd say she has a lot of that 90s heritage. She is not of this new generation, European generation politicians, unfortunately. So it is all that I can tell you. If you have some questions, first of all, please check it. Never trust it, then check it. Well, I wish Reagan was a president, and I don't wish Obama. I don't know if you know that. I have a lot of friends and viewers from the United States, and I never speak much about U.S. politics, even though, like, I pray for the U.S. politics, and I never speak about other. And actually, I'm very worried how elections in France are going on. Let me know if you are following, but we do not like Obama here. No, no, no. Obama is not our leader because he actually took a very weak position when Russia invaded Ukraine, annexation of Crimea, and he was the strongest voice for Ukraine to not escalate when it's not Ukraine. So for us, no, Obama is just like contrary to what we need. And yes, please remember to like. Thank you so much, Ken. Please remember to like the video. If you like the video, this helps it become more visible. And this is important because, once again, not enough Ukrainian YouTubers, honestly. And I can tell you officially that, I feel that many YouTubers do great help when they support and speak about Ukraine, but they are too concentrated on the geopolitics, like South Korea, North Korea, China, and other stuff, forgetting that at the most important things are happening like online. Unfortunately, I don't like this comparison online here in Ukraine right now. So yes, I also think that Zelenskyy is a good leader, especially if we look around. I was not a fan of Zelenskyy. You know, I say that I did not vote for him. If I had to vote right now, I would choose Zelenskyy. And also, I think it's not only Ukraine, it's also the European Union that is planning what happens if Trump gets elected in the USA. I can tell you he's quite unpredictable, and it may have consequences not just for Ukraine. Anyway, I always don't like it. Oh, Martin, you're too kind for me. I am not sure that Zelenskyy would vote for me. Zelenskyy is a good guy. He's like real. He's emotional. He's honest. I mean, like, it's so funny because here in Ukraine we may not like some people around him, but we actually like Zelenskyy, and people will often say like, doesn't he see that that guy is bad and this guy is bad? And it's actually quite unusual because typically you don't like your president and you kind of like some people around him. And here we have the other thing. And that's why we are just like worried sometimes that Europe has also to be prepared. And I think that actually they are. I know we have Francois, but we also have some subscribers from France. Let me know what do you think about the elections? What is happening? The national rally, Marine Le Pen. Yeah, can I say that we don't like Marine Le Pen because that's like that's real. Thank you so much, Peter. It's a blessing to have you, and thank you so much for your support. Like we know that she was always close with Russia, so this might be not good for all of us. And unfortunately, it is an election year, and so many things happening all around the planet, and it's so wrong in timing. And I give you 100% that Putin is waiting, Putin is watching, and not just Putin, Xi, and other evil, crazy guys. They hope that chaos, problems, internal disagreements will happen. Thank you so much, Run Forest. Cheers. Thank you for buying me coffees. So, unfortunately, there are lots of things. Once again, I'm not a supporter of specific politicians in your country because I understand I do not know enough. And even if I say that I like someone or I dislike someone, it may be that in personal conversation, I may learn more from you and I may understand more. But that's why I typically focus on Ukrainian topics. And today, our sportsman Yaroslava Moguchik broke the record, the world record that, if I'm not mistaken, was halt for like 37 years. Actually, Ukraine is really good in sports, and you know, it's so emotional how we fought against Russian and Belarus sportsmen and the Olympics. And what many people forget, thank you so much, Paul. What many world record, am I not right in the pronunciation? So anyway, many like say that, well, Russians have to be neutral, they have to have a right to compete. Well, first of all, in Russia sport, and back from like Soviet times, this is a Soviet heritage, many people were, like many athletes were always a part of army. It's quite common in Russia and in Soviet Union that they were standing for a specific arm army unit. Then they are not neutral. The majority of Russian athletes actively participate in propaganda. They visit the front lines. Many of them are actually on the service in the Russian army. And another very important thing that we forget is that hundreds of Ukrainian athletes were killed by Russia, were killed literally. Then thousands of Ukrainian soldiers could not continue their career, their professional career, because they are in Ukrainian armed forces. Thank you so much, Pat. You know, you're a friend, and I greatly value our conversation. And many of Ukrainian athletes cannot compete because they have to protect the motherland. And we think that, oh my God, then Russian athletes will not have this opportunity. This is really wrong. This should not be like that. We should not allow this tolerance and neutrality happen when thousands of Ukrainian lives are broken on this daily basis, and all because of Russian invasion. So I do hope, I hope that we will win lots of medals, but it's kind of weird to have Olympic Games in times of such big wars and conflicts around the world. Where is this Olympic truce? Am I right? It was just like something very known why actually people loved Olympic Games back in ancient times. And remember to like our live. So maybe some questions. We have like 15 more minutes left or something. I don't want to take away all of your time. So maybe some questions that you would like me to answer. Yoda, I don't get this question. If you are asking about Halichina, which is a district in Ukraine, so no, I'm not. I'm from Volyn. Volyn is a different region. My trip to lake was really great. It was short, but it's really hot in Ukraine. You know that I speak in Celsius, so those who use will understand. It's like 29, 30 Celsius, and the water was plus 22. Not very warm, but quite chilling and nice. And it is really nice. It's one of my favorite lakes. I love the nature. It's surrounded by pine forests, lots of blueberries, lots of fish in the waters, tasty food. And my favorite place because it's kind of my childhood destination. We often traveled there with my parents. Do I prefer lakes or seas? I prefer lakes because I come from the region that is lakes and forests. I think it's always like that where you come from. But sometimes I might be a bit afraid, like sea. I typically have problems with waves and seas. What do we hope to hear on the upcoming NATO summit? A plan. a plan that Ukraine, what steps Ukraine should take to become a member of NATO. And you know, it was just one of the very popular Ukrainian jokes, like when it seems to me President Biden said that to join NATO, Ukraine has to win the war. And here in Ukraine it was like, oh my God, that's a really serious task. And how many of other NATO members had to do that? Or is it just for Ukraine? Because it sounded like a task, like you have to win the war and then you join the NATO. And now here in Ukraine, we have this question like, uh, mm, uh, I have already answered the question that like President Zelenskyy was reached because he is a popular actor. But once again, this is a normal reach. This is not an oligarch size of reach. These are scammers. I never invite you to chat on a Telegram or WhatsApp. I literally do not like, let's be honest, I have approximately 200, 300 emails that I read daily. So no, I don't invite people to chat. I physically do not have time for that. Thank you for joining me as patrons. This is really glad. Great. Do I like Brits or American accent? Well, thank you so much, Baron. I would love to try to reproduce the British accent, but I guess I cannot. Thank you so much, someone, for buying me coffees. We don't like Andriy Yermak. We don't. The majority of people don't like him, don't understand why Zelenskyy likes him so much. Mm-hmm. That's actually one of those persons. Thank you so much for buying me coffees. That's actually one of those people that many don't like and wait for Zelenskyy to fire. It's not that he is like that bad or he is a Russian spy, but he is not on his place. That's what we feel. Because the position of Yermak is not that, like his position is quite technical and administrative, and he acts as a vice president when he does not have proper experience, and many of his decisions were not like supported by people. That's why. So there are many beautiful Ukrainian names. I have been to Bila Tserkva once. Yeah, that's a nice town, not far away from Kyiv. Greetings to the UK, Neil. Happy to see you. Do you speak? Well, I do speak about you and my experience in the new book. Thank you so much, World Peace, for your support. And I don't quite understand these questions about fortified houses. How do you fortify the houses? Of course, we have air defense, but we are constantly asking for patriots because it's not enough of patriots to protect Ukraine. You know that Russians target us like crazy, and Ukraine does not have many patriots, and it's sometimes very difficult to understand knowing that countries around us may have like 100 patriots and Ukraine will have 7. And we kind of use them actively. Thank you so much, Edwin. And those countries don't, and it's kind of sometimes quite complicated, but united we stand. And there are many things that you cannot actually prevent, or you cannot like fortify against a really big missile. Crimea will soon return back to Ukraine, and many Ukrainian people are waiting for that. Unfortunately, some are still left there. Why do I think that Putin's reasons why Putin started war against Ukraine? Because Russian Empire, Soviet Union is impossible without Ukraine, this project that they see. It's not about money. It's also, they cannot have a successful democracy that close to their totalitarian, authoritarian Russia. This goes against the standards. And they are a very poor, miserable country, and they can only survive. That you can only survive destroying these normal countries. Guys, if someone tells you that they are me on Telegram, this is not me. So you simply stop talking to these people. I never, please, once again, I never invite people to chat. And I never ask for money. And I never have lotteries. You cannot win a laptop or sneakers, because this was the case. Someone reported me that information that you won a laptop or sneakers with me. No, this does not happen. So you never speak with them, you block them, you report them. So please, please, please be careful. Yeah, those who loved the idea of my trip to the lake, please remember to join me on Instagram. There, the link is in the description of this video. And X, I have to be there so that scammers do not use you there. Also threads and a very lovely community on a Discord. Oh, thank you so much. I don't think I'm that courageous. Thank you so much, Mark, taking into account how many people are on the front lines and how many people are in very, very close to the front lines. I'm lucky to live in a semi-safe zone. I don't know if it's possible to say lucky, but still I'm able to continue working and living here. So no, I'm not that courageous. How do I see a question from a friend? Ukrainian language has increased lately. Well, like I can say that more people focus on mastering Ukrainian, speaking rich Ukrainian. There were lots of words that were forbidden in Soviet times. Even the letter from Ukrainian alphabet that they don't have in Russian alphabet was forbidden. And it's crazy. So of course people like rediscovering their heritage. They understand that lots of things were destroyed and taken away, just as now, because for decades many have forgotten about these crimes and they thought, well, maybe Ukraine was Russified naturally and so on. And now we understand it's not like that. And that's why more and more people switch to Ukrainian on the territories of the Russified regions, and also many people try to like read more old authors, Ukrainian, who used better language, I mean, richer vocabulary, and that's really cool. I like it a lot. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that I'm courageous. Of course, I like it, but still, this is very sweet of you. Okay. Okay, we will overcome adversity and be free. How do we say that in Ukrainian? I don't know what adversity is. I will say we will win and be free. I will say that in Ukrainian. Ми переможемо і будемо вільні. Ми переможемо і будемо вільні. А скільки людей говорить тут українською? Напишіть мені в чаті, якщо є такі, хто дивиться і говорить українською. I have asked a question. Not all of you can answer this question. Greetings to Sweden. Oh yeah, ye letter ye is very important. And also, I don't know if I can type this letter here. No, because I'm in the English. The one that was forbidden. No. Anyway, you will read about that in my book. I'm trying to keep it interesting. I was asked a question. I will answer that question for a friend who emailed me, but that's a nonfiction book about Ukraine. Yeah, Spencer, you're right. The question was, how many of you can speak Ukrainian, and can you let me know in the comments if there are many people who watch and can understand? Question. I can speak a little bit German, ein bisschen Deutsch y un poco español, pero not enough, no bastante, I don't know. But uh, yeah, I hope the book will appear in e-format and audio format. But guys, first first I have to finish it in a text format. That's important. When can you go back to Sevastopol? We are working on that. We are working on that. And actually, I was really happy to prepare our weekly update for today. After our stream, there will be one more video about the weekly Russian war in Ukraine update. And actually, it's a big bada boom hit parade because this week we have destroyed a lot of evil Russian military objects in very different locations. And it was really, really cool because it's in Tambov, in Krasnodar, in Voronezh. And today we have downed Su-25. So please check the video. I'm sure you will like it. And taking into account that this week we have destroyed a warehouse in Crimea full of drones. We have neutralized the majority of their air defense. Russia does not have enough. I hope that you will be able to travel to Crimea soon. Actually, I think this will be one of the first Ukrainian territories to return back. Yeah, I will speak about Su-25 in the video today, so please check. Yeah, we do have access to Hershey chocolate bars in our supermarkets, and they are nice. And guys, in the comments below this stream, let me know what are the other people you would like me to invite for the interview on the channel. Now, lots of good YouTubers like Jake, like Jonathan, they make roundtables, not just interviews, inviting more and more strong voices. I love it. Go check these videos. I'm always honored and happy to be a part of that. I don't feel it's my cup of coffee. I like more of this intimate conversation with one guest. So please let me know what are the other people you would like to see on my channel. Now I want to thank the beautiful moderators team. I want to thank Rudy, Spencer, and Martin for doing the job protecting us from evil Russian invaders in the chat. Also, thank you so much, Michael and Neil, who popped up, and Something Blonde, and my sister, and many, many beautiful people who spend the time here. And Trev, you know, you're a special friend, and I'm happy to have you in my life, and many more. Also, please remember to watch weekly update today and invite your friends to subscribe. Let's make this 150,000 subscribers soon, because this is really great when we have, yes, Starsky is a good idea, is always a good idea. Thank you so much, beautiful moderators. Thank you so much, Michael, for all that you're doing. Thank you so much, Neil, Francois, Philip, Trev, and of course, Scott, and of course, Martin, Spencer, and Rudy. And I love you all, you know that. Please always provide me with ideas. What would you like to see on the channel? And I'm blessed and grateful to have our community. Slava Ukraini!